you cut me too deep. I think I'm dying here, man.
Welcome to the 3B Video Deep Cut Podcast.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
Yo, it's fun.
Aw, yeah.
Stop the pyroclastic cloud.
It's that time again, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, another bi-weekly episode of the Deep Cut Podcast, which this week, I believe, we're going to just rename the Pyroclastic Cloud Podcast, which is difficult to say, and we'll get into that, but it's again, that time with your hosts, Rotten Roger DeMarco and...
Bond. James Bond. I mean, Bronson. Pierce Bronson. I mean, evil. I'm evil.
And...
Your Father, Remix 1UP.
1UP. This movie we just had to get to, and we've been kind of teasing, talking about it for a hot minute. We did take some hiatuses and do some filler episodes with interviews and things like that. But Evil and I, we both have kind of an affinity for these weird movies of the late 90s, I would say, that seem to get almost immediately have a duplicate movie made. And this has long since been a conversation between us about which film is better, Dante's Peak or Volcano. And we might as well just fucking squash it right here, right now, and say which one is better.
Well, clearly it's Dante's Peak, because that's what we're covering today.
Hey, you know what? Volcano is superior. And that's kind of what brought this whole thing on for me was I remember Dante's Peak being really good as a kid, and now that I've revisited it 3 or 4 more times in the past month, wow, it's got some completely inaccurate science going on.
I'll take my answer back and say the real winners were us in 1997, who got to go see this in the theater and then got to go see the other volcano disaster movie in the theater.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 months later or something, I believe. So this came out 3 months before Volcano.
Yeah,
and,
what's up with that?
It was a race. It was a race to who could finish their post-production faster, I guess, and Dante's Peak won.
It's Volcano versus Volcano. Pierce versus Tommy Lee.
And you know what? When you look at it on paper, right? Who's a better leading man? You're like, oh, well, Pierce Brosnan, he's kind of one of the best James Bonds. And, I've always liked him as James Bond, man.
I don't know. Compared to Tommy Lee Jones, I don't know if he's a better than Tommy Lee Jones, but I would say if you told me the premise of a volcano is going to erupt in this place where they have a volcano that they know of and is just dormant and might actually, blow at any moment versus one that just randomly appears in Los Angeles, I would say, well, I'd probably guess Dante's Peak is going to be the more successful than the Sci-Fi Channel driven volcano.
Arachnado or some shit.
Yeah, Lavalantula.
There you go. That's the title I was looking for. It doesn't have anything to do with the tornado.
Don't forget that sequel to Lava Tulantula.
Yeah. Starring MC Hammer. And I kind of wanted to talk about this with the director is Roger Donaldson. And that name might not be like super familiar to casual film fans, but he directed Species and he also directed Cocktail. So he's kind of got like a weird filmography.
Very. That's like name 3 movies that have nothing in common at all.
Right? And then the writer is, I'm going to butcher this last name, Leslie Boheim. And I was curious if you knew who this writer was, because this writer also made Daylight, Nowhere to Run with Jean-Claude Van Damme,
Yes,
Elm Street 5, and is responsible for House 3, the horror show. So when you combine all of those bodies of work from the writer and the director, it seems like you're bound to get something that is, an awesome, weird movie. And I don't want to take away from it. I don't want to shit on this movie too hard, because it is awesome, but I think it's awesome for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I remember it was probably a good month or change ago when you finally acquired a copy of this movie so you could watch it properly on a disc format, and it was immediately after you finished, you were like, we've got to talk about this fucking movie. That's cool.
Do.
I'll talk all day about Dante's Peak. Let's do it. And they're like, not yet. Give it like 30 days for me to brew on it.
And you know what? Like I said, I watched this movie 3, maybe 4 times in that past month. I've gone back. I've really tried to kind of soak in this movie, and it's a good thing that Mr. Remix is here, because Mr. Remix isn't pulling an all-nighter doing his crazy work, because I really needed his cybernetic organism. I really needed his thought process on some of this stuff, because I have some lava questions, and when we don't have What's Up Pam, we have Mr. Remix to do our digital research and come correct and tell us what's what and if things are bullshit. And boy, is there a lot of bullshit in this movie.
Sure.
There's a lot. There's a lot to unpack with this movie, but there's many a things that stand out, but the one thing to me that stands out the most is when the dog scene, the dog is stranded on the rock or whatever, and then Pierce Brosnan's like, we're gonna drive across the lava. We're fine.
I mean, we don't know what kind of tires he's... this movie opens with him battling a previous volcano, and he's sort of vowing revenge for it killing his girl. So, I would assume since that one-on-one fight with that volcano, he's been like Punisher style reinforcing his fucking mind,
bedrock
body,
tires,
and his Jeep to be able to withstand the ultimate volcano attacks.
Which, now that you say it like that, when you really break it down, like he's done battle with a volcano and he's like almost vowing revenge, it's even more silly.
It is.
It's
he
stupid.
is vowing revenge.
It's so
it
stupid.
took his woman. He's got to avenge his woman's death and move on. He lost that first round. He's got to fucking Rocky 3 that shit and come back and win the second time around.
I didn't hear no bell. Remix, I'm gonna need some lava facts. I'm gonna need some lava intelligence over there.
Lava intelligence.
I'm gonna need all types of weird shit. I need to know, first and foremost, what temperature does gas ignite?
Gas doesn't just ignite. It needs an ignition source. You keep saying, yeah, as soon as it gets hot, it blows up. No, this is not a thing.
There are fumes. There are things.
Fumes need an ignition source. Everything needs an ignition source. It is inside of a steel chamber, completely protected. Other than the fact that it's going to boil because it's too close to the heat, nothing's going to happen. Gas does not just explode.
What temperature does metal light on fire?
That's going to be around 3 times hotter than lava.
You think so?
I know so.
That's a real thing?
Yes.
Okay.
We know how to draw steel. We know how to melt steel. We know it's like 3 times hotter than lava.
What are gas tanks made out of?
Steel.
What are these chairs made out of?
Lava-proof metal.
Right.
Yeah, no, he's not going to drive across a lava field. Like, that's just not possible. But it's not like it's going to just fucking blow up. You'd more likely die of, like, toxic fumes first.
Because you're in the cab?
Yeah, you're way too close to it.
So that's an...
But if he was to take a wrong turn off of driving that lava and fall off a cliff of 10 feet or more, explosions.
Dead, yeah. Movie logic says, yeah, crash into a fire hydrant, explode. But apparently Pierce Brosnan knows all the ins and outs of lava.
He's
and
been
has
training.
reinforced.
This is his fucking life, man.
He is the Frank Castle of lava.
Perfecting his knowledge and power to combat the lava of a volcano.
I guess, man. And, also for the co-lead / love interest, we have Miss Terminator herself, Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton. And she doesn't really have like a tough role. She's not like a tough chick. She's really there for exposition and love interest.
She's an oddball in this movie because she still looks great. She's a single mom, but she's
with discount Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Let me just say that
she's like the mayor of the town and also runs a diner at the same time.
That's that small town living, son.
I mean, that's ultra small town living. Like,
I'm also the sheriff.
She's also got the hair care tire salon attached to the side of that building. She's also running at the same time. I mean,
sells
do the kids
gyros
have multiple
and shit.
jobs too? Like they go into school and also selling door-to-door vacuum cleaners. Mighty work boys.
But this movie, what year did Twister come out? 95?
96.
96. Okay, so right before this, but this movie definitely kind of borrows that formula of Twister, and when you put them side by side, it's pretty like painfully obvious. You've got
That was a trend of the times, man. It was just like we just had a fascination with apocalypse style, Mother Nature kind of movies.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a ton of them. Like Twister, and then there was Night of the Twisters, which was like a made-for-TV with Devon Sawa.
Armageddon.
You had Deep Impact and Armageddon. And again, this same writer wrote Daylight with Sylvester Stallone, which is also a natural disaster type movie. But it really was popping off. I don't know what was going on in the late 90s. Maybe it was the fear of Y2K.
I think it was the late 90s fever that gripped us in the aughts of the superhero movie. Now everything's superhero movie, but
right, yeah, because it started with like,
nah, man, naturalistic apocalypse shit is what's banging right now. We got to just make more of those. It's not Japanese. It's not a remake. It's an apocalypse nature movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, and a lot of it all kind of stems too with Independence Day, with things getting bigger and better. Like, let's blow up national monuments. Let's, do all this crazy shit with miniatures, which a lot of the stuff in Dante's Peak was not miniatures. A lot of it was full-size scale replicas. And in Volcano, they used a lot of miniatures and stuff like that. And in Volcano, I just gonna keep going back to that, where Volcano succeeded. Volcano looks so good when it comes to all those miniatures and that lava and all that stuff, but there's some shit in this movie that doesn't age real well. Some of the CGI.
What if
smoke?
What if Volcano came out first, and then Dante's Peak came out, and we brought Tommy Lee Jones' character from Volcano, and he's actually like the main guy, stiff-arming Pierce Brosnan in Dante's Peak, being like, I ain't gonna blow this yet. I don't want to evacuate this town, and all these people get out of here, and this place is done. I'm bankrupt and out of business.
Dude, that was an excellent Tommy Lee Jones client style impression.
So says the song.
Excellent. But yeah, back to lava stuff. I need to know the temperature of lava. How hot is lava officially?
About 750 degrees or more.
Okay, or more. So 750 is the low ball, and or more is...
Yeah, on average. If it's flowing, it's probably a little over 750 degrees.
Okay.
That's roughly the same temperature in my shorts during August.
Yeah, or during a live stream when we're sweating and panicking. But, so, just like when we sit in a sauna, sometimes you feel a little short of breath because of, the heat it's too much to take. I'm kind of curious about a lot of the things, especially with that dog. Like, that dog being, a foot away from literally a river of flowing lava. Everything is on fire around this dog.
Is it a river of flowing lava?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the whole crux of that scene is, the lava's cooled off enough. We can drive on it now.
It's flowing.
Is it?
It's flowing, yeah. And so my whole thing is... Wouldn't that like asphyxiate you? I don't know. Like, it's so hot. Like, I know you're saying people don't spontaneously combust. They need an ignition source, but
I don't think that
couldn't that just fucking Oh, I can't breathe.
I don't think the heat of that would, but like the smoke definitely would, because
it's rolling through
toxic
like a
fumes.
forest.
yeah, like we had to deal not anywhere in close approximation, but I did have to deal with the house fire a good number of years ago, and we lost a couple of pets in the house due to just the smoke that was just filling up the house. So on top of it fucking up your eyes, you can't really see. They're all stinging. You just kind of, I mean, we've seen animals like straight up in like wildfires and shit, like that koala bear just kind of just sit there and more or less give up. And I feel like smoke plays a big factor in that.
Oh yeah. They say that, that's the main cause of death when it comes to fire is the smoke inhalation. So
Yeah.
I'm so curious about that, because this movie, it gives you the threat of lava, but the threat of smoke is never really announced. And like you said, Remix, with them driving across the lava, that would be the main thing, is that rubber is burning, their tires are melting, everything's on fire around them. They're sitting on cloth interior, all of these things, like, and then maybe, the gas is so hot that it's becoming fumes. Wouldn't you just go to sleep?
Yeah, there's no possible way they're making it out of that situation. As soon as they hit lava, they're fucking done for.
There's a lot of weird stuff in this movie about escaping impossible scenarios, which is what makes it fun. That's what, you watch these and you go, yeah, that's badass. But
So he's channeling his James Bond there too, escaping impossible scenarios, like a fucking boat in a pond of acid.
And I did some research on that, and I think the pH levels or something that they were saying, the amount of acid that's in that river when he gives the reading, it's like almost, it's a little more than soda. It's a little more than soda. So the fucking grandma dies from walking through a river of warm soda.
Sacrificial grandma, yeah.
That's another, oh god, you can't talk about this movie without talking about that scene. And if you haven't seen this movie, fucking a million spoilers ahead. They decide to take this little boat across this river or pond. Is it a pond? Doesn't even matter.
Body of water. Well, we can get
a body of water. So you've got, and it's so full of sulfur and acid that the fish are floating up to the top. The fish are dying. The water's bubbling. Smoke and shit is coming out of this water.
The propeller has melted.
Yeah, the propeller melts from the acid in the water. So Pierce Brosnan takes his overshirt off and wraps it around his hand to paddle with that. None of these motherfuckers think to take their shoes off and use their thick shoes. They use
put your
one
shoes
shirt
back on when you're done, though. I want to be running around wilderness in a volcano shit with no shoes on.
Well,
I'd rather do it with no shirt on.
The alternative is, and when you watch the movie, they gotta be like 6 feet from the dock, and the grandma's like, yeah, jumps out.
Dude, we could have floated over that way. Most of us could have jumped. I mean, grandma probably couldn't have made it from jumping, but
because this seems unnecessary. Why are you
grandma to the dock?
Mm-hmm. Such a very unnecessary death.
Like, and what are you doing? Like, I gotta get you guys in. Like, but we're floating towards it.
You're floating. And then of course with this movie and with all disaster movies, there always has to be a guy that's an associate, or sometimes like in Twister, it's a rival storm chaser. But you have to have a friend or an associate who disbelieves the readings. And in this case, in this movie, we have the dude from The Thing, who is Pierce Brosnan's buddy, and he's like, you're wrong, man. And so you get that guy saying, you're wrong, we'll wait to evacuate, blah, 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 and then it's too late, and Pierce Brosnan was right. You just have to have that character. It's like super standard.
I like the team. I feel much like Twister. This team needs Sean Whalen as a part of the crew. But I always forget when I'm watching it when they initially have those couple of guys go down inside the volcanic pit, like the Hawaiian shirt dude ends up fucking his leg up. Like, every time I rewatch it, I'm always like, oh, this is where that dude dies by some like fucked up accident. And I always forget, oh, he fucking lives through this and the whole movie.
Yeah, the only one from the team who really bites the dust is the dude from The Thing. Because he's wrong and he gets trapped on that bridge.
Yeah, he's the last
Spoiler
one to
alert.
cross it, which is, I guess I'll give him the credit for being a leadership role, being like, make sure everyone else gets off before your hefty ass crosses that bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I love that look too. He has that classic look of like, remember me, and Wilhelm scream.
Yep, go right ahead. I'll be right behind you. That's one of my favorite character tropes. He goes out, not necessarily on his shield, but he goes out.
We need Chris Elliott from Groundhog Day on the other side of that bridge going, well, he could live through that. Yeah. Well, not now.
And you know, one of the other things that when I was doing my research for this, that I found out that they almost cast Michael Douglas as the lead. And that would be a completely different movie. Michael Douglas is an awesome leading man, but he's not like...
Oh, no. I think it could work, but you would just cut a lot of, like, bonding time with the family scenes out for him just fucking railing Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, and doing coke.
Yeah, while railing Linda Hamilton.
This is the R-rated version of Dante's Peak, which the director of photography for this movie sort of has some... lives in infamy in 3B video fame, if you will, which is a weird thing to bring up, but the director of photography is none other than Andrzej Bartkowiak, the famed director of Doom. So,
more famous for it being such a tongue-twisting name that took a while for you to be able to get that to roll off the tongue, and now it's done with ease. And we're going to up the game level with combining his name with the name of this cloud, this destructive smoke cloud. Let me see if I can remember it from 20 minutes ago. The pyroclastic cloud.
Pyroclastic cloud.
Andrzej Bartkowiak pyroclastic cloud.
It's Andrzej.
There's Remix correcting me on how to pronounce a name.
It's spelled Andrzej, not Andrzej.
Give it.
That's fine. I'm gonna call him
Give it
Andrzej.
to Connery. Andrzej Bartkowiak pyroclastic cloud.
And what's funny about that pyroclastic cloud line is that Pierce Brosnan, when he read the script and knew that they were going to be filming that scene, he knew that that was like a very defining moment in the movie. So he practiced saying pyroclastic cloud for 6 days in front of a mirror, just so he could not sound like a fucking idiot, so he could really sound like he knows about volcanoes.
I mean, give it all the shit you want, but that fucking stuck to being like that scene, like subconsciously triggers in my mind whenever I see a fucking like high speed cloud moving at you. Fucking in Cloverfield when they're inside that like convenience store and that shit just
the bodega
covers
or
all
whatever,
the fucking windows. I'm thinking it's a pyroclastic cloud. Or even in fucking real life, like 9/11 shit, I'm like, that's that Pierce Brosnan cloud shit.
That's true. It does stick. And you know, the only other thing I can think of
6
is,
days of work.
Did you ever see the Alone in the Dark movie that was directed by
Christian Slater?
Yeah, that has Christian Slater in it and Tara Reid.
I didn't watch it, but I had a buddy years ago that went to go see it, and I think he straight up either he saw the movie or he saw a movie where it was the trailer and just literally stood up and said, "This is bullshit," and left.
It's our favorite director, the one who made the Rampage films. So Uwe Boll.
Ooh, Boll.
Uwe.
There's no V in his name. It's a W.
It is Uwe. He's German.
Ooh, the Boll.
I don't know what that means. I don't care.
It is Uwe Boll.
Uwe Boll. Well, either way.
That sounds like a Mortal Kombat move. Like, hit him with the Ooh Boll.
He's the greatest boxer you'll ever meet.
I would starch that fool inside of one round.
He invited critics of his movies into a boxing ring.
I saw
and then
that.
Boxed them.
Yes. Well, listen, the Rampage movies are awesome, but that was I'm completely sidetracked to what I was trying to say. When he made the movie Alone in the Dark, he cast Tara Reid as like a fucking scientist. I can't remember what her official title is in the movie.
So,
but she knows.
I mean, that we can
like,
tie
works
that
in a
to
movie.
Pierce Brosnan having Denise Richards as a scientist in one of the Bond movies.
Right? It's like, and that goes to the caliber of actor. And I don't want to badmouth Tara Reid because I actually enjoy Tara Reid. But when Pierce Brosnan says something like pyroclastic cloud, there's like a certain weight to it, right? But then when you have Tara Reid, like bleach blonde, 14, breast surgeries or whatever, bright red lipstick on, and if she were to say pyroclastic cloud, you'd be like, you have no idea what those words mean. Like, there's no weight in those words.
I'll throw a little bit on Tara Reid. We got to go. We went to a convention a number of years back where Tara Reid was a guest, and we were walking around this convention, met Michael Rooker, long line, like the guy that does the voiceover for Marcus Phoenix and Gears of War, long line. Tara Reid, no line. Just walk right on up and talk to her. And if she did not have a banner that said Tara Reid with a photo of recognizable Tara Reid, I would not think that that's Tara Reid sitting under the sign that says Tara Reid.
Tara Reid. She'll appear in the mirror like Candyman. She looks a lot different. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole with the fucking whole thing about the pressure that actors and actresses, or they just prefer actor, that they feel to stay young and stay relevant. So they go under the knife a lot, and sometimes it doesn't work out.
Most times it doesn't work out.
And I was just saying, and Tara Reid is one of those, man. It's kind of like a look.
I can't even name any off the top of my head where like, yeah, they had reconstructive facial surgery done to stay young looking. And you know what? It worked.
Peter
what are the
Weller.
examples these people are looking at to be like, yeah, let's go ahead and do that? Like, where's this book of like a tattoo artist? Like, here's my work. And they're like, no, look, here's what Nicolas Cage did look like. Look at him now. Isn't this amazing? Here's John Travolta. Like, where are these books? I don't see anybody that has plastic surgery done and like it's an improvement. Never.
I don't know.
If you can find a successfully improved plastic surgery incident, post it in our Discord. I've got to see something that was like, yeah, whoo, dodged a bullet, got this done.
Yeah, because there's some rough looking characters out there, man.
They're all rough looking here. Every one of them. It's like, oh, that was
Mickey Rourke
that was
is the
a
prime
bad
example
idea.
of good plastic surgery. Is Mickey Rourke? That's the prime example.
Oh my god! No, it's not. I mean, it makes him look like you could strike a match on his face, but I mean, you can ask what's up Pam. She's like, he used to be an attractive guy, but I cannot picture today's Mickey Rourke in like the 9.5 Weeks movie. It's just not the same effects. Like Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, he is different. He can pull off looking like an 80s wrestler with all of that stuff.
Yeah,
but
he's fine in shit like The Wrestler or The Expendables. I was like, yeah, that does look like a dude who's took shrapnel to the face and lived to tell about it.
Right. Kind of, sort of has. So.
Yeah. But not, let's cast him in this steamy new sex movie that's going to be out, because falling over ladies over the mug of Mickey Rourke.
I'm gonna dip my toe back into the volcano stuff. With Dante's Peak, I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning when I was talking about the director, but Dante's Peak had a $116 million budget, and it grossed $178 million. And Volcano had a $90 million budget, and it grossed $122 million. So I don't know percentage-wise which film is more successful. I guess they're about the same when it comes to the budget.
Normally, they don't include the actual advertising budget, so I'd say neither of them came out on top.
You think so?
I would almost guarantee it.
I would want to know like the hiring percentages for Tommy Lee Jones. Nobody else at the time in Volcano, in my mind, really stood out as like a wow, they got this person for that. Like everyone in there is like recognizable today, but it's not.
Yeah,
like,
they're
at
great
the time,
character
they were like,
actors.
man, Don Cheadle, holy shit. Anne Heche, holy shit. No, but Dante Speak, I can't remember how in approximation that was to the Bond movies coming out with Pierce taking that role, or I feel like Linda Hamilton should have some weight behind, her name being in a movie, even though she didn't do a whole lot.
I feel like that was like the tail end of Linda Hamilton's career, and it was like, well, we can get her,
Yeah, so maybe
but
if you
Brosnan,
dive into the difference between cost of getting these actors, maybe is where the positive or negative cash flow hits.
Remix, can you tell me what year GoldenEye came out? I think it was around 97, because, you had the Nintendo 64.
Came out in 95.
95? Okay, so Nintendo 64 had the, successful GoldenEye game. So he was Bond by this time.
Oh, so I'm totally saying that that Volcano probably came out more in the green just because of hiring Pierce Brosnan in Bond glory days for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
He had to cost more.
And he's a very recognizable face and a handsome leading man. So you get all the lady fans of Pierce Brosnan want to watch him run around and save the day and quite possibly remove his shirt. You never know.
Shit, he's so suave in this movie, I could fall for Pierce Brosnan.
Mm-hmm. And there is some borderline steamy scenes between him and Linda Hamilton, which we were talking about off air. I love Linda Hamilton. Evil loves Linda Hamilton. But she's perpetually has a raspy voice around this time, and it just makes me think that she smokes a lot. And we always ask the question during these podcasts of what do you think such and such thing tastes like or smells like, and not going down the perverted road, but what do you think Linda Hamilton would taste like if you kissed her?
I think she would taste like Ewan McGregor's steam in Dr. Sleep.
Weird. That's weird. So what flavor would that be?
Aged whiskey.
Oh, that's pretty good, because I say coffee and Marlboros. I just feel like, she's that business woman, and it's like she can't start her morning without her eggs, her toast, her gotta have a cigarette and a couple cups of coffee. So,
So she's
anytime
training
you kiss
for
her,
The Exorcist, she's like, give me 3 raw eggs, a pack of cigarettes, and a jumbo
that's
Java
where the
latte.
voice came from,
Just modify that bushwhacked order with shit that's Linda Hamilton. 2 packs of Marlboros, some raw eggs, and a jumbo Java latte.
I'm telling you, man, Linda Hamilton could be the voice for Patty and Selma on The Simpsons.
I would love if Linda Hamilton was on Cameo. I'd love to get can you give me a dirty voicemail message?
Read that 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes, give her one of those 50 Shades simulators. Just read this. Take my money and read this.
That would go viral. Nobody steal her idea.
Copyright that shit now if Linda Hamilton makes it to Cameo. We have to check
Right.
see if she's on there now, just to be safe. Lock that shit down early.
Lock it down.
Damn, Linda Hamilton is not on Cameo, so we cannot get that done. But man, what a phone sex operator she could be, or customer service line.
Could you put the phone back on your butt?
What? What's wrong with you? I don't know how to channel a Linda Hamilton voice.
Yeah, I'm not good at that either. I don't know.
Maybe if I take a shot of whiskey and try to talk immediately afterwards, maybe that'll.
Smoke a fucking cigar.
I don't have.
You can have whiskey
I have
at-
some It's a
okay.
Boy cigars, but
It's just for the record, while we're recording this podcast, it is fucking 10:20 in the morning, and Evil's about to take a shot of whiskey. You have a problem, sir.
I mean, this is to get the
Science.
get the performance out. You want the performance? So let's hear my attempt at sounding like Linda Hamilton. What's a Linda Hamilton line? Do you have any Linda Hamilton lines from this movie or any movie?
Just give me a Terminator line. I don't know.
What's that doctor's name in T2 that she stabs in the knee with a pen?
You motherfucker. Of course you got to ask me that. I don't know it off the top of my head.
Like I want
Anybody not wearing 5,000 sunblock or whatever the line is going to have a real bad day. Get it?
How about when she's reaching, like, if she initially asked to, like, call her son, and doctor's like, nah, not gonna happen. She's like, you son of a bitch.
All right, just give me a line read of you son of a bitch.
Him. All right, here we go. Here we go. The shot.
He's literally drinking it?
You son of a bitch.
What was that you just drank? It wasn't whiskey? Is it whiskey?
Yeah, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Evan Williams brand.
Tastes like aftershave.
I feel like that is definitely how you channel Linda Hamilton's voice, is talk immediately after a swig of whiskey.
And just a cigar, constantly smoking a cigar. But, you know, as far as the definitive, which we brought up at the beginning, which one, in your real opinion, hands down, which one do you think is a better film? Do you think Volcano or Dante's Peak? And why? Man,
I feel like I have a fucking awesome time with Dante's Peak. Like, it's just a lot of fun, and I don't feel I would like Volcano as much if it wasn't Tommy Lee Jones in the role.
Really?
Yeah, I was kind of looking at it that way. Like, if I replaced Tommy Lee Jones with anybody else, would I like Volcano as much? And I don't think I can confidently say I would. I feel like it would definitely easily take second place if you replace Tommy Lee Jones with almost anybody else.
Damn. All right. Well, I mean, okay. I see where you stand. I see which side of the line you're on. But I'm the exact opposite, dude. When I watch Volcano and they do the whole, like, trying to put up the berms, and they're trying to fight back the lava, slow the lava down. They got the helicopters dumping water on lava and all that stuff. That stuff is, like, super fun and exciting for me. And watching the lava roll through the town and kind of eat these stores, all that stuff.
When it's melting. It's Wicked Witch of the West style, Drew Carey's cross-dressing brother.
Yeah, the killer from a bunch of seasons of American Horror Story, which that scene remix, I don't know. You're saying people don't spontaneously combust, but would someone who is standing in lava, would they melt?
They would combust.
They would just light on fire? They wouldn't just literally sink down into the lava as they were liquefying?
It's way too viscous. It is just rock. It's just rock that is flowing. They would catch on fire because they're actually in contact with the actual lava. It takes about 350 degrees to melt human skin. So their skin would start to melt, but they're not sinking.
All right.
Look like
so
a
if you
gremlin more or less standing there.
Oh, what?
So he would look more like Stripe from Gremlins, standing there like shit just falling off of him.
He'd look like Freddy Krueger. 100%.
So if Robert Englund was in Dante's Peak or Volcano, it would be a medically accurate Fred Krueger.
We could get Kane Hodder.
Hey, was that a stab because he's already got real burn scars?
It's true.
I know it's true.
I mean, man, talk about, that would be a fucking awesome movie. Recast Dante's Peak with Kane Hodder. Like, that's a dude who has got a fucking vendetta against a volcano.
he's like hitting streams of lava with a machete.
Yeah, those fucking falling rocks. He's just straight up punching as they're coming down.
Which, okay, so my wife brought this up last night because we rewatched it last night just so I could, officially pick something for the prop game, which we will play here towards the end of the live stream. But the movie starts, and it starts, like you said, right off the bat with him battling this volcano, trying to escape, and his wife dies. I mean, like that, in the first 10 minutes of the movie. But it's almost a 2-hour movie. It's an hour and 47 minutes. Why not extend the movie that other fucking 13 minutes, give us a 2-hour flat movie, so we can have 13 minutes of Pierce Brosnan and his wife, so we can actually feel something for her, because we're literally just, the way the movie starts, if you don't know, like if you were just channel surfing, if it was on cable, you would feel like, did I miss something? Like the movie just started. It started during a volcano. So there's no like backstory with him and his wife, other than the fact that she just gets smoked by a rock.
I'll give you 2 reasons off the top of my head. One, it's 1997 and it's not in vogue yet to do a 2-hour movie. Perfectly fine today to do that, but it was a rarity to find something that was at a 2-hour mark or more in 97. And 2, I will go with that because we want to consciously or subconsciously root for Pierce to hook up with Linda Hamilton, and it's slightly more difficult to do if we have a more established relationship with him and his previous wife to suddenly move on to his next wife. It's kind of like, I would equate it kind of like to Rocky Balboa, when we have Adrian long dead, but we've got a 5-movie history, and he's very much dwelling on her death, so it'd be super weird and a fucking Hollywood-style age gap for him to hook up with
Little Marie?
Yeah, with Little Marie. So, like, you don't really want that to be a relationship because you still feel he has one with Adrian. So, if you establish a longer relationship with that, with his first dead wife,
how many dead wives does he have?
You might not get the audience quite on the side of being like, yeah, now it's time to move on and hook up with Sarah Connor, man.
I have a counterpoint to you. Titanic came out in 97. That's 3 hours and 15 minutes. I know the precedent wasn't set, but it was something that was happening.
Who directed that one?
Me, I directed it.
Spielberg, right? That's a Spielberg movie? I don't want to fucking be wrong when I'm talking.
James Cameron.
James Cameron? It's a Spielberg write it? I feel like it was a Spielberg-Cameron collaboration. Which
either one of those guys can have that kind of sway. A volcano movie made by no one near that caliber, a little bit tougher.
It's a whole James Cameron piece.
Is it really? All right. Well, there you go. And, Titanic, the most rare VHS of all time, because there's 2 of them. Just saying.
Yeah. Almost everywhere you look for used VHSs, you're going to find at least 1 copy of Titanic.
I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
Because of you. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a great, when I found that, you're like, hey, can you get those 2 copies of Titanic? I'm like, oh, I just left that store. You're like, well, can you, next time you go there, if they're still there, can you pick those up? And I'm like, yeah, those 2 copies of Titanic have been there for about a calendar year. I don't think anyone's coming by to pick up the Titanic tape.
Swooping them up.
Yeah, nobody's like, oh my gosh, finally. If that was my goal, to collect all the copies of Titanic, I would be swimming on this table in Titanic VHS.
Floating on a raft made of Titanic.
I can make a raft big enough for Jack's scrawny ass to lay on.
Now, would that raft work on a volcano?
No, because it's fucking
if it's
plastic.
got the volcanic-proof tires that Pierce Brosnan clearly put on his Jeep, along with his snorkel device.
We'll line it with his gas tank steel, which is apparently impervious to lava.
No, those tires
which you mentioned earlier about that snorkel on the Jeep, I do believe influenced a generation, because I'm in the Midwest, and there are dudes in my town driving around that have Jeeps with that device on it. I'm like, really? Did you like Dante's Peak but feel like we could be living in Volcano?
Which I asked Remix off air before we started this. I was like, is that an effective thing? And he says that they're super effective, but here's the thing: your engine can run, yes, but current, and there's all of these factors, sinkholes, sand. Like, it's literally okay. Your muffler is above water. Congratulations. But if I was driving a truck in mud, I'd still get stuck. So now you're literally in a river of mud and rock and all this stuff. But yeah, your engine can keep running. That doesn't mean a tow truck can get you out.
It's all about the treads, homie.
You
got mudding tires.
See,
You live in the Midwest too. You should know all about
Yeah,
this.
no, because that's serious white people shit. That's Midwest white people shit, and that's not my Midwest.
Yeah, no, that shit is
Got
it
mud
works.
in the tires.
Rarely do they ever get stuck as bad as you think that they might.
I'm
There's a
just
whole
not that
competition
guy.
about getting your car stuck in mud. People try to get their shit
You
stuck.
know what I'm gonna do? Soon as the sun comes up and it gets above 50 degrees, I'm gonna go drive my truck through some mud. I'm gonna hook up
Yeah,
the dang snorkel,
They have-
and I'm gonna drive through the creek.
they have a term for it. It's called mudding.
Everybody does their own thing. I'm gonna be over here critiquing your stupid mudding. Critiquing your stupid mud and your daggum
And-
chains on your tires.
You just don't know the car culture. Dang, you don't know.
would.
I literally don't know car culture.
I
I'm
would
not
make
that
a
guy.
comment about steering, in a river current, but you haven't seen Romancing the Stone yet still, so you need to go see that movie so I can make that joke and it's funny.
Right. Reserve the Romancing the Stone reference joke.
That will be a podcast or live stream, I guarantee it, because that is a fucking fun movie that does have Michael Douglas in it that you need to watch.
I will. Speaking of Michael Douglas, this movie was shot in Wallace, Idaho. You like that segue?
Volcano Central, Idaho.
Yes. And I believe it was all, skyline and stuff was achieved with matte paintings and CGI, which, like I said, some of the CGI doesn't age that well. I'm a really big hater of CGI smoke. Late 90s CGI smoke. I hate it. Boy, do I hate it. And I hate, poorly composited fire.
I like the miniatures getting blown up by the cloud.
I like that. That has a charm. That's cute, and it has man hours of detail and work. So anytime there's an excuse for miniatures and matte paintings, I'm all about it. I just
So
certain things like, motherfucker, you have a smoke machine.
that is our logic, where if it's super quick and easily to fix with CGI, even if it looks better technically, we don't like it as much as if we know someone put a lot of man hours into making something super small look like it's average normal size, and clearly doesn't look as good, but we're like, we appreciate the man hours put in to do that.
Yes, well, dude, in the late 90s were rampant with miniature work. All those big disaster movies are just filled with it. Because you can't really break apart a freeway and drop a bunch of fucking cars,
Yeah, this ain't True Lies.
Yeah, so, which, that's Cameron, baby, right? Cameron did True Lies, I
Yeah.
believe. So, but there are miniatures, a couple miniatures in True Lies. But for the most part, it's a lot of big stuff.
Yeah, because he's got that kind of power.
Yeah. He literally built a real Titanic. No, I don't know. I have no idea.
And then sunk that shit. Spielberg's
Fuck
the guy
this boat.
that's good enough to fuck you, I can make my own new rating. PG-13, bitches, Temple of Doom.
Mm-hmm. Which, we got to cover Temple of Doom on a podcast. We've covered it live stream wise.
Yes.
But break it down.
We should
Give it
just
an
do
hour
the
treatment.
whole Indiana Jones quadrilogy.
I don't know about doing all the Indiana Jones movies.
Well, why the hell not?
I only like a couple of them.
Let's do a special where we do all of them at once.
in 1 hour.
No, we got
20 minutes.
20 minutes,
Movie.
20 minutes adventure in Jonestown.
Well, if you drink the Kool-Aid, it's faster than 20
Flavor
minutes.
Aid.
Our 100th episode, 5 hours long. Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
We're going to cover the whole Indiana Jones saga.
Bwomp womp womp. But I think we've hit that point in the podcast where it's time, Evil, to do the Amazon 1-star reviews.
We can do that. We can delve into the dark depths of the Amazon and people who hated this movie so much that they took the step beyond what Roger wanted to do, is just talk about this in a podcast. So, I got to put this in some form of print for all to see for forevermore. So, can't really see a graphic, but I'll still say it. Remix. Cue the graphic. First up, we got Joel. May 22nd, 2020. No time like the present to get to Dante's Peak, apparently. But old Joel says, 1 star, one of the worst movies ever made. Horrible, stupid waste of time. And then a good majority of these 1 stars fell into this category, so I thought I'd at least do one of them. This is from KC. On October 15th, 2018. 1 star, bad disc. Disc didn't work. Bad disc. Bad disc.
Bad disc.
This name sounds like money to me. Like this is a money guy name. Mr. Wayne B. Russell.
All right.
On May 5th, 2016. 1 star. It wouldn't work. I called, but you never sent another.
This motherfucker called Amazon. He didn't email them.
Yeah, he called Amazon, and they said, we'll send you another one, but they never did.
You know that was someone who was like on their way to their lunch break. They're like, yeah. No problem.
This dude wants another copy of Dante's Peak. Send him Volcano.
Make him happy.
Yeah. Next up, we got Sharon J. On May 24th, 2015. 1 star. Widescreen. Ick.
On what year was it?
2015.
Damn. All TVs are widescreen by that
Fuck
time.
that. Sharon says full frame or die.
Whoa.
What if they're complaining about 21:9 versus 16:9?
They didn't specify. They just said widescreen.
Well, then
Ick.
they don't know what they're saying.
Well, Sharon knows what she don't like. She don't like widescreen.
I know what I know, and I know I don't like that nutsack.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like it. I know if I had to watch it, I would like it even less.
That was my dad's whole argument. Like, well, I have a 36-inch TV, and I want a movie to fill up all 36 inches.
I cannot argue against that. I kind of feel the same way. Like, why am I buying a TV that's this much bigger and I'm still watching something that's not this much bigger? Like, the whole point of buying a TV is to be like, yeah, isn't this great? I can see all this shit. And why am I buying a movie where I still got to lean forward and be like, well, at least the edges are there now.
Right, because it's what the director intended, goddammit. Now you can see that fire hydrant.
Utilize what I paid for. If I wanted a small-ass screen, give me a small-ass TV. Bought a big-ass TV, show me all this big-ass screen. Like, what the hell's the point? But all right. Back to Isabella Potter. On August 29th, 2013. She says, 1 star, don't buy this version. It will not play on my DVD player nor my Blu-ray player. It may be the version that this movie is in. Junk.
She got a bunk copy of Dante's Peak. Manufacturing defect.
Next up, we got John R. Could be John Rambo. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do it in his voice. So, April 13th, 2016, John R., he's going to rate Dante's Peak, 1 star. Stupid. Stupid. Stupid.
It stinks, all right?
It should be stupid. Yeah, that's more appropriate. Just get more agitated when he starts ramping up his speech. Stupid. And last but certainly not least, my coup de grace of the 1 stars for Dante's Peak comes from Elizabeth Beard.
All right.
On August 12th, 2016, 1 star. Thanks for the memories.
Wait, what?
Thanks for the memories.
Wah, wah, wah. I am perplexed. I don't understand, but all right. Thanks for the memories.
Maybe she was kind of in your boat, being like, yeah, Dante's Peak was just as good as Volcano. Then she rewatched it and goes, oh, my memories were much better than rewatching it. Thanks for reminding me that my memories were better than reality ended up being.
We call that the Sleepwalkers effect.
That's a Ric Flair retirement thing. You gotta leave the memories alone. They'll never fade.
I don't know that, but,
Nobody does.
I do know Be a Man, Hulk. Come on, don't be scared.
Hollywood Hogan.
Not that has anything to do with it, but now that we're done with the Amazon 1-star reviews, Evil, does that mean it's time?
It could be time. Time for what?
Remix, what time is it?
It's time to play the game.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game.
Surely about the game, if you please. Only but the pyroclastic cloud and Bargo X can't take it.
That's the best one yet. Oh, that's good shit. All right, we've taken a couple of weeks off, so again, Poquito, abridged version of the game. Let everybody know what we're doing, and let's get into it.
Well, this is the prop game where we pick one prop from whatever movie we're discussing as a prop we'd love to take home. Something you'd like to have on your shelf to say, I have this from Dante's Peak. Fuck you, isn't it cool? Well, you can't say something that everybody would say. Like, if we were doing Back to the Future, you'd say, I like the DeLorean. Yeah, fuck off. Who wouldn't like the fucking DeLorean? Get more creative than that. So we try to think a little bit outside the park, but something still super cool that'd be fun to have as a prop to have on display in your home from said film. So today's movie, Dante's Peak. Raj, what's your prop?
All right. Remix, are you participating in this, or you haven't seen this film at all?
I know exactly what I'm taking.
He wants the lava.
I want a cup of lava. I'm taking that fucking snorkel and I'm fitting it on your stupid little car, and I'm gonna show you a good car time. I'm gonna show you a good car time.
I'm gonna drive my car through a creek. Down there at the creek, I'm gonna drive my car through.
Can we next time you have to get new tires for your vehicle? Can we actually go to a tire center and like, do you have something that will go across molten rock?
How about this? I'll buy your car new coilovers. I'll buy your car mud and tires. I'll buy it a snorkel. I'll buy an exhaust extension.
What was the first thing you said? Coilovers?
Coilovers.
Coilovers.
It's like a lift
Sounds
kit,
made up.
but it's a suspension kit.
I have an average-sized penis, so I don't need a lift kit. I feel like
You're gonna drown if you drive it through liquid. You're gonna drown.
I'll go through puddles, small puddles.
I'll dip your engine in a small puddle and we'll see how that works.
We're dealing with global warming, sir. No, there's gonna be no more puddles. It's gonna be a river going across every road in America.
Exactly. This is why you need to fit your car with a snorkel.
Yeah, we need the
right.
we need the Bronson-approved vehicles in order to survive the coming apocalypse that is the future.
Well, Remix swooped in and did his prop before my prop.
Fuck your prop.
Apparently, I'm going to have the coolest piece of shit Chevy Malibu on the planet. So, all right, my prop, Evil, is nothing too wild, too aggressive from this movie. But it's a scene. It's a scene I've always liked, and the prop I'm gonna take is Pierce Brosnan's magic handkerchief.
That he woos over the kids and solidifies his position to be tagging Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, because that handkerchief got him in bed with Linda Hamilton with his little cheap bullshit magic trick. And I love magic, even though there is nothing magic about that handkerchief. It's all about just how you hold it so you can force it to bend. But that's what I want. Hopefully it has Pierce Brosnan's...
disappear, much like Linda Hamilton's panties.
Woo! Maybe it'll have some of Pierce Brosnan's snot and or cum on it, so I could, clone Pierce Brosnan. Maybe he used it to wipe off.
That's a horrible thought. Is his post-coitus move is to wipe this shit down with a handkerchief?
Why do you think that handkerchief is so stiff?
That's my nose-blowing handkerchief. That's my post-coitus cleaning handkerchief.
Yeah, why do you think it was so stiff, dude? So I want Pierce Brosnan's magic nut rag handkerchief.
Magic nut rag. I even bet his nut. I even bet his nut rag handkerchief smells wonderful.
Like fucking brute.
Sandalwood.
That's what my beard smells like. Sandalwood.
Your beard smells like Pierce Brosnan's rag.
Yeah, it's like his nuts. But all right, Evil. What prop would you take from Volcano? I mean, Dante's Peak. I mean,
From Dante's Volcano,
yes.
I will take Pierce Brosnan's broken forearm bone.
Oh, gross. He's going to extract it.
Yeah, that I remember clear as day. One, in that scene, Pierce Brosnan's fucking crushed and dead. Like, there's no saving his ass. Like, it's going to be fucking weeks before they unearth that family. And Pierce Brosnan's just getting crushed by all that rock. But I remember when he breaks that fucking forearm and he shows it in the light, the whole audience went, ooh!
Oh, yeah. Anytime there's a protruding bone, that is the collective gasp of an audience.
Yeah. So seeing that, I'm like, that's a cool fake arm bone prop. I was like, I would love to have that. Like, that's Pierce Brosnan's broken arm from Dante's Peak.
Which, I mean, now that you're talking about that scene, and we didn't bring it up at all in this hour podcast,
I thought for sure that would be the prop that you would take, is that fucking that distress beacon box.
Oh yeah, well that's not a bad one, but like you said, this movie, the trend wasn't to make an epic, like a 2+ hour film and things like that. But am I alone in feeling like this movie is like really just getting good and then ends? It really starts to pick up. They escape. They're running from the lava. They get the dog, and then all of a sudden, trapped in the rocks, and here comes everybody. The end.
I mean, I feel it maintains an all right pace. I don't feel like it's cut short or fast. It doesn't feel like it's the length that the film is. I think everything runs seemingly fine.
What happened to the lava? What happened?
Now, Dante's
Well,
Peak.
it became rock. Yeah,
Dante's
but
Peak is now just Dante's place.
Dante's parking lot. But yeah,
Dante's mountain climbing range now, because we have new mountains formed by all this rock.
But there's no like, I guess, closure. They run from it, and then
is
they
there
get
closure in Volcano? They literally in that movie with going. The volcano in this fucking Hollywood is still active.
Right, they do the I Love LA thing, but like,
so if it just had a jazzy like end song, you'd be more all right with it.
Well, no, because they in Volcano they like beat the lava, they stop it from destroying the rest of the town. They save a bunch of neighborhoods, and it has like a closure thing. This is like,
this time
we're on the run, we're trapped in a cave, someone comes and pulls us out of the cave. Okay, but what about all the citizens of Dante's Peak? What about everything else that's going on? We just leave it behind so we can...
They all fucking escaped, and it could be another 30, 40, 50 years before this fucker blows again. I'm just going to assume it's back to being dormant. In Volcano, I'm like, man, this fucker could blow up again tomorrow.
Yeah,
it could blow up during I Love LA's playing. That'd be a hell of a way to end Volcano. Like, midway through that song just ends. Another volcanic blast just explodes, and I'm like, well, that does it for Hollywood. It's burned to the ground.
That's the after credits sequence.
Randy Newman's still playing the piano and just gets blown off the piano by the pyroclastic blast.
The word of the day is pyroclastic.
Pyroclastic.
Somehow, I still don't sound smart when I say it. I still sound like a complete...
Because we spent 6 days like Leonardo DiCaprio and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood doing that shit in the mirror. You will get pyroclastic, right? I'll blow your goddamn brains all over the pool.
And on that note, folks, we have gotten to the end of another successful podcast discussing a film, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
All right, so a Chevy Silverado suspension kit will fit on your Chevy Malibu. We're going to swap the internals of your Malibu with the Silverado, and then we're going to take a mud in.
No.